What up, everyone? Sam in the building, and I'm going to hurry up and try to do this video fast so I can get back to my day. I just got off the line with a buddy of mine, and we kind of got into a heated debate, trying to get him to understand that we tend to, protest and march and riot for the wrong reasons in this day and age. You see us riding on TV whenever a cop shoots a black unarmed man in the middle of the street versus protesting when we kill each other every night due to the systematic approaches that are, handed upon us from the higher elite, you know. And what I mean by that, I try to tell them, just the poor community itself with the lack of education, the poor tax base, etc., etc. All right. And then he goes into this story about how Rick Ross, and I assume this happened in Florida, but Rick Ross wanted to have a function in, some type of hall down there, and they gave him a price, and he said, well, how much would it cost me to just buy the company from you, to just buy the property, the hall itself? And, this guy has to be non-black. I'm not sure if it was white or Arab, but the guy waited about a week or two and then called Rick Ross back and said that, we can't sell the property to you because the property is for us, and, our intentions is to pass it down from generation to generation, right? So, my buddy, he thinks that that's wrong. This is a black guy I'm talking about. So he thinks that it's wrong that Rick Ross wasn't able to buy the property. And then he goes on this rant telling me that, if a black man wanted to buy a skyscraper that was for sale, then, they probably wouldn't be able to buy the property because of systematic approaches, basically. Which it could possibly be true. And that's the things that we need to be rioting and protesting about. That's it right there. I have property in New Orleans, okay? And, some of my white buddies, they know about the property as well. And for some fucking reason, this has only happened 2 times with 2 white guys, but for some fucking reason, these guys will call me up and it's some Arab guy or, some African guy who wants to buy the land because the land is prime real estate. It's in a commercial area. Business is booming. There's a Walmart. There's a McDonald's, Chili's, Lowe's. I can go on and on. Best Buy. Everything is right there. Okay. But this property was passed down from my grandfather. Well, actually, my great-great-grandfather. My grandmother's grandfather. And they're calling trying to see if I want to sell the property. And I told them, fuck no. I cussed them both out. I'm like, I don't have a for sale sign on my shit. You don't see a for sale sign on my property. This is what black people need to fucking argue about. I mean, even in the Third Ward in New Orleans, I was just talking to my aunt the other night, and there's a corner store that sits close to her house. They want $400,000 for this property. Granted, I don't think it's worth $400,000. But at the same time, it's like, damn, this is the things that you need to be writing about. The economy. Write about, ownership and property and shit like that. Instead of fighting whenever, a black man gets killed in the middle of the street and you have the rest of us looking into this guy's background and trying to, confirm if, this was justified or not. And honestly, when we look into it, half of these instances are justified and half of those instances are not. I mean, there's some guys who are murdered that I can stand with. And there are some that I can't. But we have more killings every night of black on black crime versus police killing niggas in the street. I mean, if we were going to protest, like my boy Red said, you have white officers who come to the black community, and I see this myself. You see white officers in the black community, and some of these guys are from the Marines. Some of these guys are trained in mixed martial arts, and the black police officers are downtown handing out tickets. These are some of the things that we need to protest and fight about. Man, what the fuck is wrong with niggas? And it's that type of response. When we look at the basis of these riots, the response of it is still defaults back to the give me the handout shit. Because I mean, if we're gonna really, really fight and die in the middle of the street for something, I would rather get out in the middle of the street and die for business opportunities and power and infrastructure for our own community, for ourselves as a black people, versus just this was unjustified. He got killed by this white police officer, versus we're going to take and put this railroad train track through the middle of the black community. We're going to stop the train in the middle of the black community, and one of the carts will be filled with crates with AK-47s and AR-15s. You see, and then next thing you know, you got the niggas going inside of the train, stealing the guns, and next thing you know, you have thousands of guns in the middle of the street. And I know this is happening because I've heard stories about this in Chicago, and I've seen it personally in New Orleans, right? But we don't speak about those type of things. If we're going to sit and protest, I mean, let's protest about the way the media portrays black people. If you want to protest about the hip-hop community and how bad that is. I mean, these are just other things. Like, if this type of shit was placed in order, then everything else will fall in place at the end of the day. But I mean, for me to just listen to him, it just sounds like that give me a handout shit, man. And I'm like, bro, we can't operate like that. And that's why they're laughing. That's why they can, come back and say, well, blue lives matter too. Gay lives matter, because you're fighting for the wrong thing. I mean, if there's racism out there, okay, and racism is based on various levels, but we tend to fight racism on the lowest level possible, which is white police officers killing black men. Versus let's have more black police officers in our community. I mean, come on, man. Oh, boy, I get disgusted. I'm sorry. I just really get disgusted about, how we think backwards. And it really peeves me, man. So, that's all I really wanted to say, honestly, man. I don't really want to get deep into this. I'm going to fuck around and be late and shit, man. But I really wanted to get this shit off of my chest because they know, I guarantee you the minute we start speaking about the money and the minute we start talking about, well, shit, we want to own our skyscrapers as well. This abandoned building is for sale. Why can't we buy this abandoned building? And then, all of a sudden you'll see the white folks and other races like, oh shit, these motherfuckers are really standing up for something. Oh my God, we got to do something about this. And then, we can have a legitimate war. You see? Most of your prominent YouTubers, they all talk about just getting together and getting businesses started, keeping the money in your own community. Which is true. I mean, I plan on getting my aunt on here because she can tell you as well. I come from a long line of builders, a long line of carpenters, renters, business owners, just out the kazoo. So I grew up learning this. I grew up listening to Dr. Claude Anderson. I actually have a video I plan on putting up, which is in regards to Dr. Claude Anderson's project back in the early 2000s called Mata. But, this shit is just getting out of hand, man. And, I feel a lot of black people who say, I just give up. This is just too much. It's too exhausting. I'm just going to leave and go over to the Philippines and just, have my children out there and just say, fuck it. But then you got to think about all of the people who are trying to rush over here to get to America, because I know some Filipinos as well. I've been knowing a lot of Filipinos for, I want to say at least 8 years now, and I can also speak Tagalog. So, but I never really had any intentions on going out there to find me a Filipino wife. You know, I just wanted to just culturalize myself and be more diverse. And I understood, you know, that country, and I know people in several countries, well, several islands, several regions in the Philippines. And the grass is not always greener on the other side. But then, you know, I'm getting off what I wanted to say, but you know, you see a lot of these foreigners, they're coming over here as well. And like I said, they have the same ambition. The Arabs have the same goal. You know, they keep the money within their own community. They're trying to build and maintain their own shit. And, you know, just create the wealth from, you know, generation to generation. So, you know, for black people to just go so opposite of it, I just get disgusted. I get bothered, and you know when I talk to these people directly in person, most of these guys are liberals, and I respond in a way where you know I start to scream at them. I start to get real loud, and you know they're like, "Well, let me talk." But you know everything that they're saying, it's like they're repeating the same thing that I've said before, or you know they come up with another question, and I've already laid it out within you know, one paragraph. That's it, one paragraph. It will clean up everything. Everything will trickle down if, you know, we go to the top and if you want to fight racism, don't fight racism at the bottom. You know, you fight racism at the very top. If Donald Trump is a racist, let's see, what makes him a racist? Oh, well, because of the laws that he has established. Well, then damn, there you go. You know, what type of laws does he have established? Every single law that he has that's put in place that would make him a racist, stand up for it. You fighting for police and shit, you're fighting at the very bottom. Because if you want to go a couple of levels higher than that, then we'll be fighting about the fact that white police officers are patrolling the black community. Okay? All right, man. Look, I'm going a little too far off here. I'm gonna keep this low, but yeah, you guys be cool, man. I'll probably do a video later on when I get back. But have a safe day, morning, noon, or night. Have a safe night wherever you guys are. Sam, peace.